State UCLA. Now, things are as bad as they could possibly go for James Franklin. Now, I said he lost probably one of the most winnable big games against a big ranked opponent last week. I mean, you're talking about a game that goes into double OT. You're talking about a game in your environment that's arguably the best environment in college football, and a roster where you should have a top roster in the country, not like previous years where you come in as an underdog against these programs. Now, after that, I told you guys I thought Penn State was going to absolutely respond. I thought UCLA was one of the worst Power 4 conference teams, which, again, I still do. But this Penn State loss was so astronomical and is going to go down as one of the worst losses for a ranked team in college football history. And I am not overreacting. It's going to go down as that because there's just so many reasons that make this loss different than any other big upset. When you look at UCLA, they were 0-4 coming into this game. UCLA had nobody coming to their stadiums in LA at the Rose Bowl Stadium. Nobody wanted to go to these games. Like, this program was so down coming into this game. Not only that, they had interns at head coach, interns at OC, interns at DC. It took them 2 days to go over a new program with these coaches. So you're not only talking about a team that has been horrible the whole season. You're not only talking about a team that can't get fans to get into their stadium. You're also talking about a complete overhaul in the coaching staff. You're talking about a team that doesn't even match up to yours, that have 2 games to learn the game plan. And they dropped 42 points on you. Now, I know everybody first wants to talk about Drew Aller, obviously, but I'm not really going to talk about Drew Aller and this offense. I think Drew Aller and this offense did their job. They put up nearly 40 points in this game. I don't think that's where the blame should nearly lie in this game. It obviously comes with the defense and the coaching staff. Again, they hire one of the most anticipated defensive coordinators. You let up 42 points to this UCLA team that got blown out in multiple games. When you look, they got blown out by 25 to New Mexico. Could only score 10 points against them. Could only score 10 points against Utah. Like, this offense could only score 14 points against Northwestern, and they put up 42 points against you. This was just their day, it seemed like. But other than that, also the coaching staff, I believe, made pivotal mistakes in this game. When you look at the start of this game, when UCLA drives down, scores right away, I get it. They drive down, they score right away, they make a statement. But after that, they get an onside kick right away and get the ball back again. How are you not expecting your players to be ready for an onside kick? You know, when you're a 24-point underdog in a game, not only are teams going to be more likely to go for it, go for 2, they're going to be more likely to do crazy things, fakes, onside kicks. And the first kickoff of the game for UCLA is an onside kick. You're completely unprepared for it, and UCLA gets the ball back, puts up more points after that. Then I thought at halftime was a complete disgrace. Right before halftime, 2 minutes to go, Penn State is just saving their timeouts. For what? They're not calling a timeout on any play. They let the clock run all the way down, and UCLA gets another field goal. I thought there was a multitude of coaching mistakes in this game. Not only did UCLA play their best game, you're looking at a bunch of missed opportunities from the coaching staff, a bunch of just unprepared. And then also a huge play in the game as well. Even though you may say the game was over, I think it was about like 30 seconds left. UCLA goes back and takes the safety like we've seen people do in this new age era to kill clock. If you go back and look at that play, there is no Penn State rush. Penn State is not even expecting it. My house, who was talking about that they're going to probably go back and go for a safety, the announcer of the game, we're talking about how they're going to go back and take a safety, and Penn State is sitting there letting clock completely drain. It looked like this team has completely gave up. And then after that as well, when you look, you needed a quick out or two, and you just don't even make the throws to do it to set you up for a Hail Mary and just let the game expire. Like, again, I thought Penn State had missed opportunity after missed opportunity combined with you're letting a UCLA team score 42 points against you when we see against much worse opponents, they're scoring 10, 14, can't even crack 20. This was an absolute embarrassment for Penn State, and this is the type of game that could get a coach fired. Now, I'm not going to say James Franklin should get fired. I'm still on the standpoint that he shouldn't. Again, this Penn State team could win out. This is a Penn State team that people had in the top 3, that the rankings had in the top 3. They could win out. Again, they're going to have to win a big game against Ohio State. They're going to have to beat Indiana as well. Is it likely that they win out, knowing how they play in big games? Probably not. But the opportunity is in their hands. If Penn State wants to win a big game, this is the time. I don't think this Penn State team could get in with 3 losses because of how bad this UCLA loss was. Again, we're talking about a coach that didn't even know how to call plays from the headset. There was a multitude of plays that Nico Iamaleava had to call by himself. And I also want to talk about Nico Iamaleava in this game as well. I think this game was super significant for Nico Iamaleava. Another guy that I don't root for because I just think is a guy of example that got too greedy in the NIL era and that people should learn from. But Nico Iamaleava is a guy that could make every single throw on the field, a guy that has prototypical size, can run with the football. If he was going to have a game this season, this was the game to have to put people on notice that he still has the talent to be an NFL quarterback, which I never really faulted on. Again, I didn't think he met expectations last year. I thought he put himself in the grave going to UCLA this year. But this guy has the talent of an NFL quarterback. This guy throws for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. He rushes for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. And why I think this is so significant, because this puts people on notice next year if Nico Iamaleava wants to transfer out again, because obviously UCLA is just not going to be the right fit. This is a Power 4 team that is just completely in the ground. I don't think it matters who would quarterback for this UCLA team. They wouldn't have much success. But you saw in this game against a team that's very close to an NFL defense, Nico Iamaleava absolutely took over, and he still has that talent to rise him atop. But I think this is going to be a game people look at towards the end of the season when certain teams are looking for a new quarterback, and Nico Iamaleava could get an even better opportunity. Because we saw him against Northwestern. We saw him against Utah. We saw him against New Mexico. He cannot get anything going. And again, I think it's for a lot of the time UCLA doesn't have the right protection for him. They get dominated in the trenches. He's just not set up for success. But to come out against Penn State, a team that people had in the beginning of the year as a top 3, top 2 team, and just flat out dominate this defense. There is no other words to put it. Flat out dominate this defense with 5 total touchdowns. I think nobody needs this game more than Nico Iamaleava because there was questions on him if he will ever get that next opportunity. And now I think people are going to look at this game towards the end of next season and say, like, this guy has NFL talent. If you put him in the right system, again, he could make our program soar because I don't think he's going to stick with UCLA. And also, he has another, 6 games to prove himself as well. Hopefully him, this offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, interim head coach, they continue to get better and become more competitive as well. I don't want to also make this as, Penn State absolutely lost this game. Penn State was unprepared on the defense side of the ball. The coaching mistakes were crazy. Like, I understand all that, but you also have to give credit when credit is due. When you look at all these interim head coaches coming together on a team that's completely outmatched and winning this game 42-37 as a 24-point underdog, you got to give these guys so much credit for being able to do in 2 days what nobody ever thought they were going to do. One of the biggest upsets we will see in college football history. Credit to that coaching staff, and also credit to Nico Iamaleava and his offense for coming out and setting the tone right away and never letting up. Like, credit to UCLA, one of the biggest upsets we will ever see. And Penn State and James Franklin definitely have some questions. But like I said, for all the Penn State fans that want to see James Franklin go, you got to remember where you were at when James Franklin took over. You got to remember where you were at the last couple of years being an elite team, not being that underdog in the Big Ten to an Ohio State, to a Michigan, being a team that really looked at in the same light as them when you get into these matchups. So James Franklin has turned them around, definitely. Has he had trouble winning the big game? 100%. Is this going to go down as one of the biggest upsets in college football history? We've said that already. But if you want to fire James Franklin, especially in this NIL era where you want to pay players, where it's extremely hard to fire a coach, and what he has done for this Penn State team, you got to make sure, and I don't know how many candidates are out there, you got to make sure you are getting somebody that is an upgrade. And I think these coaches in college football, these top coaches in college football and these top programs, I don't think they fly off trees because we know the top coaches in college football, they stay in the sport for a while. If you're firing James Franklin, if you're eating this money as a program, you got to make sure you're getting somebody better. And I am not 100% sure that somebody better is out there. Yes, are there better coaches in top programs in the country right now? Yes, but they have jobs. I don't know if there's better, necessarily free agent coaches out there. That's all I have to say about that. You knew I was going to rant about Penn